comes to the X-Men, not everyone can make the cut, I know, but there are some mutants who it feels like have been overlooked over the years. Why have some mutants made the cut while others haven't? Welcome back, Nerd Squad. It's me, Amanda, and today we're going to be discussing, I think things that have just been overlooked as we count down the top 10 mutants who should be X-Men. Who would you like to see on the X-Men team? Let us know down below. Number 10, Deadpool. Okay, so I know what you're gonna say. Deadpool's not technically a mutant, but hear me out. Deadpool is mutant adjacent in the sense that he is a mutate, and he has also long been affiliated with the mutants, even being a member of the X-Force team. So when it comes to Deadpool, I really feel like he's kind of earned his stripes. And there's never gonna be a list that's like non-mutants that should be X-Men, because that doesn't trend. We can't do that, so I gotta include Deadpool on this list. There was a time when he was actually actively trying to become an X-Men member, and they basically gave him temporary X-Men member status for a little bit, but he never really got to be a full member. The X-Men only even gave him temporary status because they wanted to keep an eye on him because they didn't trust him. I feel like Wade just really wants to find a place where he feels like he belongs and would actually be a pretty good asset to the X-Men team in a lot of ways. Sure, he can be annoying, and sure, sometimes he messes up missions. He's assigned. But at the end of the day, his heart is ultimately, I think, in the right place. Assuming he has a heart at the time and he isn't just, like a disembodied head or something. And friends, before we move on to our next spot on this list, if you love what we do here at Top 10 Nerd, and if you love it when I talk mutants, I know, I love it, be sure to let us know by giving this channel a subscribe if you're not subscribed already. And if you are, thank you. Number 9, Dupe. Wow, so I really thought that Dupe had actually been an X-Men before, but apparently he hasn't, hence why we're here. Dupe has long been affiliated with the X-Men, but has never actually been a member of the main team. Dupe has definitely been affiliated with X-Force, and later, as they become known, X-Statix, not Cable or Wolverine's X-Force to be clear here, but he's never actually been a member of the X-Men main team itself. I did notice that on his Marvel fandom page, it seems that he's been listed as being a former X-Men, and I tried to look into that. The citation for him being considered an X-Men recently was 10 of Swords Destruction issue number 1, but I've read that issue and I don't know what that is in reference to myself. I even went back to the issue to make sure I didn't miss anything, and I couldn't find anything, so if I did, let me know what that's in reference to, because I do not know about that. I don't remember Dupe joining the team or being a part of it. I don't think he's ever actually been affiliated with the X-Men in that way, although he was for a while the receptionist slash janitor, I think, for the Jean Grey School of Higher Learning, so he has definitely been X-Men adjacent, but not actually a member of the main team. Perhaps that's why he's listed as being like a former X-Men affiliated person thing? What is Dupe even exactly? What is he? All I know is that Dupe should get to be a member of the X-Men because honestly his powers are crazy. He's one of those characters that can basically do just about anything whenever it's needed, so his powers are basically limitless with the way he tends to be written, which is why I would love to see him on the team. I mean, he can like move through margins of comics. That's pretty crazy. Not a lot of characters can do that. Number 8, Hijack. I mean, you know me, you can never have too many technopaths on the X-Men, hence why I'm suggesting that Hijack deserves membership. For those who are unfamiliar, Hijack is a mutant whose powers allow him to control cars, hence his name, Hijack, because he could basically hijack, well, just about any car he wanted, whenever he wanted. Sure, his powers aren't as crazy in terms of his relation to technology as somebody like Forge, let's say, or even someone like Trinary, who can literally communicate with tech, or even Cypher, whose powers have been expanded to include technology, being able to understand tech and therefore in a way kind of communicate with it and sort of get it to do his bidding. But at the same time, I still feel like Hijack is pretty cool, and I also just love people that have car-related powers. So can we get David Bond on the team or what? I also know Hijack has not been like around recently, but that's also definitely why I want him on the team. Number 7, Nature Girl. Nature Girl was part of the X-Men Green team. However, that team has actually never been considered as an official team by the X-Men, okay? It was basically made because Nature Girl just couldn't take what was happening to the planet anymore, and she decided to go out on her own. So this is definitely not a licensed team. The X-Men are not like, yeah, you go Nature Girl. Everyone was like, whoa, Nature Girl. Even readers, a lot of readers were like, whoa. There were a few other mutants who ended up getting recruited to join X-Men Green, or mutant-related folks in some cases, including Curse and oddly Sauron, who, isn't a mutant but is also a mutate. But when it comes to X-Men Green, it's not even considered an official X team. Any way you slice it. So I really feel like Nature Girl deserves her turn at being on the X-Men team. I'm actually surprised she hasn't been on the X-Men earlier, and while now she's in a totally different place, she is honestly an extremely powerful character. Her powers allow her to reach out to nature and communicate with it, basically possessing nature empathy, if you will. It's using this ability that she is able to often get the animals of Earth to do what she asks of them, but not because they must obey her, more because they just actually really like and respect Nature Girl, just as she really likes and respects them. So they usually are just like, yeah, we'll do that because that sounds like a cool thing to do for you. And maybe their goals are aligned as well a lot of the times. Number 6, Strong Guy. Energy absorption powers are some of the strongest around, which is why I'm honestly surprised that Strong Guy has not yet been formally invited to become a member of the X-Men mainstay team. He's been a powerful resident of New Tien, and in that way, a sort of X-Men, and he was also part of the X-Men team during X-Men Disassembled, but that was also a time where we had like multiple X-Men teams going on all at once, and at the time I don't even think that Strong Guy was part of like the initial 2 main teams that started out there, Red and Gold, and at that time, I mean, pretty much everyone that was a mutant was kind of given a membership card, so it wasn't as exclusive as being on the team usually is. Don't know if we can really count it. More of an X-Men mob than an X-Men team, really. So I'd still like to see Strong Guy added onto the main roster. Number 5, Iboy. So this is a pretty selfish point. I'm gonna be honest with you folks. I really love Iboy, and if you have watched the channel for some time, you probably already know this about me. I'm a big Iboy fan. I also love Peeper, or Peepers as he has been known before. I don't know, I just really love people with eye powers, I guess. It's a thing. I don't know why, I just like it. Iboy is therefore definitely someone I would love to see on the team. His powers are often underrated as well, in my opinion. He's covered in eyes, which sounds useless and weird to most people, I guess, but it actually gives him all kinds of different types of sight. He can see things that most people can't see. He has telescopic vision, can see really far away, he can see things that other people wouldn't even know exist. It's even implied that he can see into other dimensions as well. Personally, I think having someone that is that kind of perspective to see pretty much anything around you, even stuff that isn't visible, would be super useful. Speaking of seeing things that aren't visible, he also has microscopic vision too. Number 4, Kid Omega. Kid Omega is one that surprises me as having never been an X-Men, but I guess he's really only been X-Men affiliated, being a student at multiple schools. He has also been a member of the X-Force as well, but not the main X-Men team, I don't think. Quentin is extremely powerful and has been destined to be the Phoenix before in the comics, so I think he would make a great addition to the team should they ever want to consider him for a full membership. And he just returned, so we could have him. He's old now, but he came back. We thought he was dead, but no. Number 3, Madeleine Pryor. While Madeleine has played ally to the X-Men on multiple occasions, she is not herself an X-Men, nor has she ever been an X-Men. Although she has like said to me my X-Men before, I believe. She got to say that during Dark Web, I think, but she doesn't have official status. To me, this is a travesty considering how many other villains have gotten to join up with the X-Men team. Sure, Madeleine did some terrible things, but she also has one of the most tragic stories out there. She was created to be used as a pawn by Sinister to get the child he so desperately wanted. In a romance with Scott Summers, she was abandoned, left alone with their newborn when he returned to the X-Men after Jean was revealed to still be alive. Maddie has had it kinda tough in regards to her life. Could you also imagine the power the X-Men team would have if she joined up while Jean was also on the team? I mean, that is a lot of psionic power. If we want to have like a completely psionic X-Men team, I think you definitely need Madeleine Pryor on it, personally. Tempo. Tempo is super cool. Having seen a little bit more of her through the Marauder series, I have been greatly impressed with her power set. Tempo basically has the power to manipulate and, in a way, control time. She can even stop it. She can speed it up, she can slow it down, she can change the tempo of it, if you will, and can manipulate it in a way. Time control to me is something that has always been super powerful. Having a character that control or manipulate time in this way would make sense for the X-Men, and they have had a few time manipulators before affiliated with them, but I don't think ever Tempo, alas. Tempo, I think, was actually considered to be one of the people we could vote for to join the X-Men with the elections in recent years. However, she sadly did not win the vote, and as a result, she didn't get to be on the team. But hey, at least she did get to be on the secret X-Men team, basically made up of the people that didn't get to be voted onto the team, which I thought was pretty cool. And later, she would end up joining the Marauders, and I have enjoyed reading her in that, so hey. Number 1, Manifold. Wow. What can I say? I cannot believe that Manifold has not yet been an X-Men member. That's insane. That's a mistake. Someone should fix that. Manifold is probably one of the most powerful teleporters we have out there, and that's because He isn't even really technically a teleporter. Manifold's powers allow him to communicate with the universe and basically ask it to literally bend over backwards to do his bidding. He can ask the universe to fold itself in half so that he can jump from one point to another point, moving even all the way across the universe and beyond, seemingly teleporting, but really just communicating with the cosmos. The only downside to his powers is that they really only work in the 616 reality, but still, that shouldn't limit him getting X-Men status, because we've seen people like Nightcrawler become an X-Men, and Nightcrawler's powers really only allow him to teleport short distances, and Kurt also tends to tire quite a bit over time when he uses them. Sorry Kurt, but it's true. The best that we've seen from Manifold in regards to his affiliation with mutant teams that are X-related, I believe, is Sword. And even with the Sword team, they've really only been mutant related in recent years. Other than that, they're just really a space superhero slash shield team normally, so yeah. That's about it. Until next time, you stay nerdy, YouTube.